What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Phase 6, your source for music, business, motivation, and support. It's your guy, Sirr Love, and once again, I'm coming to you guys with another dope episode. I want to talk about something that I've really been getting bombarded with lately. A lot of people are reaching out via email, via the website, via the text message. They're reaching out asking about this particular agreement called a work for hire document. I've been getting this question asked to me by producers and a lot of writers, and especially a lot of artists. Artists in particular have been asking for this document. I really want to debunk any beliefs and let everybody know what it's about and kind of make this information available. And speaking of that, I decided in addition, we're going to go ahead and make this a series, and I'm going to break down all the basic, common contracts that you would typically see in the game and just let you know what they are and what their purpose is so that you can know that going forward. So without any further ado, let's hop into it. Phase 6, let's get it. So work for hire. What is a work for hire agreement? Well, let me take you guys back and let me talk about the present. Let me talk about the past. Let me kind of give you guys an understanding of, why these things exist, what their purpose is, what they're supposed to be for, and how they're used today. So basically, in short, if you want to get to the punch and you're watching this video on the fly, a work for hire agreement is a document that relinquishes all rights of ownership from one person and gives it to another individual. Typically, this is done before the work is done. That's why it's called work for hire. We're going to sign this agreement that's going to say, I am hiring you to do a specific work or do a specific task that's going to give me ownership over the work. In music, the final song, that copyright, that intellectual property is typically called work in legal in legal terms, right? So work for hire either means you're going to do work for hire, or I'm asking you to create a work for hire, right? That's the concept of it. Now, how this works is the person that signs it is typically employed by the person that delivers it. So you have an employer and you have an employee. It can also be artists to, producer, or producer to, musician or whatever. But in any instance, there's one person that's doing the work for the other person. The person that's doing the work is giving up all ownership of the record in exchange, typically for some type of fee. So what does that mean? That means that you no longer have any say-so or any rights or any claims over the copyright, over the SR or the PA copyright. You have no claims over any royalties, any publishing, any future money or advances that will be made off the music. You're basically saying, listen, I'm gonna do whatever you ask me to do for a flat fee, and then I'm out of here. Just give me my check and I'm gone. Now, there are also scenarios when there's, an artist will ask a producer to do it, and a producer would do a work for hire, almost like, trying to give the record away. So imagine like a parent trying to pass down a home to their kid, and they sell the home for $1, right? To give it to their kid, because there has to be some type of monetary value for it to be legal, right? So you could do a work for hire agreement just because the producer's saying, really, I want to give you everything for free. I don't want any future ownership at all, but, I want to pass this down. So you give me $1, do a work for hire agreement, whatever, and they set it up like that, right? Different places have different minimums and different values for the amount of money it has to be, but that's generally the concept, all right? So why do work for hires even exist? Some of you guys are hearing this. I can see a lot of producers right now listening to this and going, why would I make a beat and give up all ownership to somebody else, right? And I can see a lot of artists probably going, oh man, it's gonna make the paperwork so much easier if I can just give them some money and then cut them out and just have all the paperwork all together. Well, work for hire has periods in time in which it makes sense. This is when a work for hire makes sense. A work for hire can make sense if a producer is making a beat and they want to bring in an instrumentalist because that producer doesn't play instruments. So they bring in a bass player or a pianist or a keyboardist, if you want to call them, or a live drummer, a Congo player or whatever to contribute to the record. Now, the producer doesn't want to include this Congo player, drummer in on the publishing. The producer says, this is my idea. I'm going to tell them exactly what I want. I just can't play it myself. So I'm going to get them to play my vision and I'm going to pay them a fee for that, right? In this instance, typically the producer will offer the musician a work for hire and they'll offer the musician a check. They might give that musician $1,500, $500, whatever it is. Now, why does this make sense for the musician? Because there's so many barriers that go forth when it comes to making that record get to its final destination. So for the musician, they came in, they did their work, and now only way they're going to get paid is if something happens to the record. If someone takes the record, it lands on a project, or it blows up on some song or something of that nature. Otherwise, the musician just came in, did free work, and didn't get anything out of it. So from the musician standpoint, there's so many hands involved in the freaking record. So the musician has to first off do all the publishing and everything just like they're part of the record. They have to try to get their money from the producer who's going to get the advance, and the producer's trying to get their money from whoever shopped the record, trying to get it from the label, it's like a lot of chasing around. And for a producer, for the instrumentalist, the reason that this doesn't make sense is because they're likely getting a small portion. If you came in and you just did the bass line, the producer had the whole vision, the producer might have only given you 5% of the record. So you're running around chasing your money, waiting for labels to clear checks, doing all this stuff to try to get your money, and you're only getting like a small percentage of it. So then you have to think you're getting a small percentage most likely of a whole lot of different producers, because likely you're in some type of circle, people know who you are, you get referrals, and a lot of people are shopping with you from this standpoint as a musician. So as a musician, it might be easier for you to just say, hey, give me $700 right now. I'm not worried about nothing else. I can get $700 10 times this week and I'll be pleased with the outcome of it, because 9 times out of 10, there's so many barriers to any one of these records becoming successful. And if it does become successful, the amount of money that I may make as that musician may be minimal. So I'll just take the work for hire agreement. That's why you see that type of stuff happen. Years ago when work for hire came out, it was like a way of paying people almost a salary or a fee for doing a job. You get background singers come in, they're singing on the record, she took my money when I'm in need. And you got the people in the background singing, and I don't even think there's background singers in that song, I can't even remember, but whatever. You know, background singers used to be really prominent back in the day, and those background singers a lot of times were working for either some type of salary or some type of work for hire scenario, and the salary was typically a work for hire scenario, which they were getting paid basically to be in the studio session to lay their vocals, a flat fee versus getting paid royalties down the line. All right, that's kind of the history and why a work for hire makes sense. Now, how work for hire is being used today, a lot of times you'll see artists going to producers trying to get producers to sign a work for hire, and that's the artist's way of having full ownership of the record. That means the producer would no longer get any publishing, any royalties, or any advances off the track other than that flat fee, right? You also see this in television and movies and different things of that nature, where they'll do a work for hire and say, I'm going to pay you a large flat fee to create this sound for a particular scene in the movie, but we want to own the rights to it, and the negotiation comes down to the check. Now, by all means, there's nothing wrong with signing a work for hire agreement. There's nothing wrong with handing someone a work for hire agreement, as long as all parties know what they're trying to do. If your goal is to make long-term royalties off the record and get paid off of the spins and get paid off of all the different vehicles used to get paid from records, I did a bunch of videos on that, so I don't want to reiterate that. But all the different ways that you can get paid off of a record are going to be cut off from you, everything except for your upfront fee if you sign the agreement. So if you're a producer and you're looking at an artist and you're like, and the artist wants to do a work for hire, and you're like, I really doubt this artist is ever going to make it, and you're willing to take a work for hire, cool. Or, it just kind of depends on your scenario. So a work for hire is good, a work for hire is bad. Typically, giving up all of your rights and ownership to a particular record, if you own a significant percentage of it out the gate, is not a good idea, typically. However, if the person is offering you enough money to give it up, or if you're just feeling really kind and gracious and you don't really have any attachment to it and you want to give it away, then that may warrant you giving it up. Or if you have a very small percentage and you're going to get a nice handsome fee for it, it may warrant giving it up. So a work for hire can be signed by an artist. An artist can sign a work for hire and not get paid for any contributions they did. A songwriter can do the same thing. A producer can do the same thing. Basically, work for hire means that whatever work you contributed to this project does not award you any ownership. You help build the house, but you don't make any money when we sell the house. You're just gonna get your fee as a laborer for god darn laying these bricks down and digging these holes and pouring cement and building the foundation of the house. But when we sell the house, you're already paid. I don't gotta give you any more money. A lot of industries work this way, but this is the terminology used in the music business. So I hope that clears up a lot of thoughts for people that are trying to understand what a work for hire agreement is. There are a lot of common work for hire agreements online that you can find anywhere if you're looking to find one. I personally have some of these documents available on the website. You can go to the website if this is something that you guys are interested in getting, and then you can download a version of the document where I go through line by line and explain to you what everything means in detail. That way it's more than just this high level overview. But the first thing you need to know is this high level overview. What is a work for hire? Why do I sign it? What's the purpose of it in the first place? And then if you guys are interested in learning more and it's something that you actually need in your career, go to www.phasevi.com and grab one, or go anywhere else. And if you understand legal terms, then grab it from there. It just really depends on what you want to do. This is just a source to help you guys. Now, I don't know everything, but I know a lot about a little and a little about a lot. And I'm trying to give you guys everything that I got. So we're getting ready to continue this series talking about basic contracts. We just talked about work for hires. The next one I'm going to talk about is going to be called a producer agreement, which is an alternative to a work for hire for those that are interested. So make sure you like, subscribe, hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button, tell other people about it, reach out via text, reach out via the contact page on the website, like, subscribe, go to Instagram, follow me, reach out, DM, let's get active, let's talk, let's communicate, let's have a good time, y'all. I'm excited to be back doing more videos with you guys. Let's get it. Sirr Love, Phase 6, I'm out.